I've been enjoying Destiny 2 a lot lately, and I don't think I'm alone in that one. The sandbox is fun and all of the content of the game is relevant, but it still seems like people are simply reaching the end of their interest. Just this last week, for instance, we got updates from Paul Tassi and Datto that they're moving on, and I want to dig into whether this is a problem or not. Now, while I personally felt freed by the announcement that updates were coming to an end, I think many players, especially those who did not jump off the treadmill at any point, find that Destiny 2 in its final state lacks staying power. There are two main reasons I think that this is the case. One, Bungie spent all of their marketing budget and time conditioning players to crave that next piece of content coming soon trademark. The real turning point for this was Season of the Undying, aka Shadowkeep. And the second reason is due to how the game is put together at a mechanical level to facilitate such conditioning. I feel like I'm going to have to untangle that first point a bit here. Destiny, as in Destiny 1, all the way through Destiny 2's Forsaken expansion, were built as singular products. I think if you're watching this video, you already know about the whole 10-year trilogy deal with Activision and whatnot, so I'm not going to retread ground there. But the mindset of those releases was consistent with prior Bungie games. Games that, yeah, you could patch them, but they were released with the intent of being finished with the work and moving on to something new. It's common knowledge that the Destiny 1 and Taken King team released their work, then moved over to making Destiny 2 vanilla, while another team pumped out Rise of Iron. That's a mindset that I think changed after the Bungie Activision split. I'm of the opinion that the newly freed Bungie needed both cash and direction urgently. We know that the NetEase deal that resulted in Destiny Rising answered their cash flow question, but the change in direction I think is more abstract. I believe that Bungie execs looked at Destiny 2 and decided to gut it rather than take the quote-unquote risky option of making Destiny 3. Now reminder, that was in 2019 as Shadowkeep was nearing its release. It's a sub-zero cold take to say that Destiny 2 should have ended with Final Shape and Destiny 3 should have been cooked up by now. But it's a screaming hot take to say that Destiny 2 should have ended with Shadowkeep and everything after should have been Destiny 3. That's how I've come to feel lately. Let me defend it a little bit. So first, let me describe what Destiny 2 would look like in this case. There would be 7 raids, 2 dungeons, everything from launch onwards, still in the game. The final season would have been Season of Arrivals, with the pyramid ships coming into the solar system and hovering in the skyboxes of the planets, which in turn would never have been deleted. A select few titles are available to chase, with each holding a decent amount of prestige. Gotta love Riven's Bane. And instead of Distortions, our final public event would have been Contact. You remember Contact? Oh, and the subclasses? Yeah, they'd still be trees. All told though, it's not a bad look, and Destiny 2 would have gone into maintenance mode in late 2020. It would be a complete package, the second game in a 3-game saga. I don't want to wade into what if territory here, but the Destiny 3 of this timeline would at worst be exactly what we have now, minus the legacy activities from before Beyond Light. Those activities being stuff like Last Wish and the Dreaming City, the Moon, a few strikes. But you could still go back and play them. But that isn't the mindset that Bungie had at the time. Instead, I think leadership lacked faith in the IP despite buying it out of their Activision contract, and instead of playing the long game and taking a moderate risk in developing Destiny 3 then, they decided to play it safe and gutted Destiny 2 the game to create Destiny 2 the platform. That's why there was all the content vaulting. The mindset changed. Nowadays, people think of Destiny as a live service franchise, but that was really only true starting post Shadowkeep. Live service is such an interesting little Gordian knot to poke at. On one hand, do it right and your players will come back for the next new thing year over year. Do it wrong and any player who steps off the treadmill for even a second is just out forever. Or worse, do it sloppily and you'll end up deleting years of hard work and art and music from your platform just to fit some new stuff in. And that's where Destiny 2 found itself, desperately transformed from a complete package into a freshly minted live service. Seasons came, but they also went. Each new release brought new things, but also removed just as many, if not more things. Season of the whatever's coming soon. You'll have this mission and that activity, but watch out, Season of the Past is ending soon. Better grab the gear from that mission and this activity before it's gone forever. Don't miss out. It's actually impressive in a gruesome sort of way, just how much work and talent went into Destiny 2 content only to be removed 90 days later. There's been all this recent talk about how expensive Destiny 2 was to maintain, and that's apparently why they've ended it, but there seems to be no one talking about just how much waste the process generated. Entire games have less content than just the content that was removed from Destiny in the name of live service. And that's the real kicker. The fear of missing out incentivizes playtime, sure, but only until you actually do miss out on something. Then most people just seem to realize that the content's been treated as disposable the whole time. Why should I, the player, respect your output if you, Bungie, just throw it away at the drop of the hat? That's the mentality that Bungie cultivated for half a decade now, and now unlearning it in the Monument era it's tough. I'm thinking back to all the time I spent playing Destiny 2. No, I'll give them enjoying Destiny 2. I enjoyed a lot of seasonal offerings, but once I realized that it was basically the equivalent of junk food, it became hard to get emotionally invested into anything in the game did outside of the expansions themselves, because I knew that even if I learned the ins and outs of deep dives or PsyOps battlegrounds, it meant nothing, because they're just gone soon. You know, I love loot-based games, but I'll be damned if there's a game that trashes itself like Destiny 2 did. You know, I could go back and play Borderlands 2 again. I could pick up a Deepa and make the magic happen. I could go back and play Grim Dawn again and make a new character, you know, grab the right monster and frequent and go to town. I can even go back and play Destiny 1, see where it all started, get that full story experience. Can I say the same for Destiny 2? Nope. Destiny 2 in its current form is a finished game. It has a beginning and an end, but it does not have a middle. A new player who snags a deal and hops in will just move on to a different game because they'll think they're being gaslit. Oh yeah, so between Beyond Light and Witch Queen, we met the Cabal Empress and then we allied with her. You know, just look it up on YouTube or watch Bife. Statements uttered by the utterly deranged. Destiny 2 did not play the long game correctly, and they're paying for it big time. You cannot build a live service game based on short-term quarterly thinking. And I mean that literally as well. Destiny 2 as it exists today was not built to exist in a static state as it does. Destiny 2 has for half a decade been a game that advertised nothing but the future, while its present and past were just stripped for parts. That's why the players are leaving, even though the game is good. That's why the weapons all have Rev 1 next to them. It's just the same stuff from the past, stripped for parts to bring it into the future. An eternal cycle. Didn't we fight a big, alien-headed guy to stop something like that? Wasn't that the whole point of Final Shape? Whatever. Destiny 2, I like you. But you aren't a game a guy can marry. You've got a checkered past and some memory loss, and you put yourself together all right in the end, but you just aren't a complete package, man. I want to clarify that I'm going nowhere. I'm enjoying the hell out of the game that is left over. But my excitement is despite the last 1,500 words. Destiny 2 is still a big game despite what's been removed. The trouble is that for folks like Paul Tassi and Datto, and probably most of the people watching here, you know, folks that never took a break from the treadmill, it doesn't matter how big the game is because they've seen every inch of it already. They already have the god rolls, they already have the titles. Me, I still have things to chase and unlock, you know, dungeons and exotics to try out for the very first time. I haven't even touched Vesper's host yet, right? And, you know, in time, I will get to those things. But once I do, that'll be it. You know, the meal will be finished. That's why the game is still bleeding players despite being good. Destiny 2 has finally joined its predecessor as a single package that you can pick up and enjoy. It has some major faults, but the guns are fun and the game is good. You can finally play it at your own pace again, like in the Forsaken era. But you cannot go back and experience all of what made Destiny 2 such a big deal in the first place. And the reason why is because Bungie sacrificed it in order to turn Destiny 2 into a live service. They sacrificed their long-term plans for short-term viability. It's really easy to get lost in the what-ifs when it comes to big projects like Destiny. There really are no games that can hit the same receptors. You know, that's a statement to the huge amount of work and passion that went into this game. But if you do get lost in those what-ifs, you're going to miss a lot of great stuff from other devs who do deserve a look. I hope that this discussion has not come off as just more negativity. I think that Destiny has been one of the greatest franchises I've had the pleasure of partaking in, and I would love to see more, but I think an ending is acceptable for now. I do want Destiny 3, but I do not want it to be a repeat of the same mistakes and be a rushed monstrosity. Get a team together, let them cook, and I will be first in line to dig in. Until then, I'm going to be enjoying myself, I'll have a smile on my face, and if this is indeed the end of Destiny, then I suppose that's fine too. I won't be pining for my old ex. Eyes up, future's not written yet. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week.